Okay, today we're gonna change exterior metal door. Here's what it's looking like. Sometimes you can repair it, but this one we're gonna swap out. Okay, first thing we're gonna do, pull the pins. Pull the door off. I'm gonna use a center punch. Here, tap it with the hammer. Pull the pin out, take the door out. Okay, got the door off. Now we're gonna measure the height. In to the bottom of the door. This is a large peep view. Take these off. Turn this. Then you could turn this. First you turn the ring, then you turn this on. And you're gonna have to hold it here to turn it off. There's one end, keep your hand on this end, watch the fall. There's a little piece of glass in there. We'll use that. Top lock, still be able to use. Look at this, take off all the hardwares. Okay, this is a little bit bent, so we're gonna replace this. This part is still good. And this back set, and it's a little choppy, so we're gonna replace that too. We might as well replace that handle as well. So now we got the hardware off. Now we're gonna lay the door on its side. Okay, here's the old door. I'll put the new door next to it. Do this 2 ways. You can line this up and get your speed square that here and transfer the mark on your new door. I like to put a little X on the side of where the pin goes so I can know how to lay out my hinge. Or you can pull a measurement. Now the new door came from Home Depot. It was like $300, and they usually sell it with the holes bored in already. But what's the odds of those holes lining up to your existing holes on the jamb? And this is a metal jamb. Looks like I'm gonna have to repair this as well. So that's why when it comes to buying these doors, you can get it without the boards in it. Get it without the boards, the holes, and you do it yourself. So I'm gonna transfer the hinge, information on the hinge onto the new door. Okay, put my marks. Now we're also gonna measure the height of this door. You can see how much shorter it is, so I'm gonna have to cut this door. Okay, these screws are bigger than normal, so this is a number 2 fill up. I'm gonna use the number 3. Take these screws out. These metal doors, just the skin is a thin sheet metal, but the sides are wood clads, made from wood. Okay, now when you take your hinges off, pay attention to the space you have right here. And when we put it back on the new door, we're going to put that same distance, which is usually the same distance as this right here. Here's my transfer marks. Do that for all 3. Then I'm gonna pre-drill my holes. Okay, so I've done that. I think before I route these out, I'm gonna cut the door before it gets hotter outside. That we're gonna have to do outside because it throws out a lot of sparks. Okay, I set the door up on some horses. Got my straight edge. I marked the door 78. Marked it out. I'm gonna put my marks right here. See that? Do it on this side. Okay, run an extension cord. And I suggest using a corded saw for this because it takes a lot of energy. If you use a cordless, you're gonna drain your batteries. And here I also have a Diablo metal cutoff blade. See how it's looking. That's what we're gonna use. Okay, now you want to lower the saw plate and only leave about a ½ inch of the blade sticking out. You don't want to cut through the whole door. You want to cut one side, flip it, cut the other side. Okay, now when you cut this, you want either put masking tape here or a piece of wood or something for the saw to ride on, because as you cut this, it's going to throw out metal debris. And if you don't have nothing here, as you pushing the saw along, it's going to scrape the door. So having this here or masking tape will prevent that from happening. Then you just want to start and cut. Safety glasses too, remember. Okay, now you see I only cut through the metal. Now you want to take sharp chisel and chisel away that sharp edge on this side of the door. Don't worry about that side. Okay, now you take your speed square, the marks that you made there before, put it on here, put your mark, do the same on the other side, get your straight edge, put it on the lines, mark it. Scrape the edge off of this side as well. And this goes to help for when you put your door sweep on later. For some reason, the door sweep likes to get stuck on this. So just get it out of the way now. Don't give you problems later. And for the edge, to cut the wood, you can use a hacksaw, but I have the multi-tool with the wood bit. Okay, there's the bottom of the door. Now I'm gonna get back in the apartment and get out this hot ass sun. Okay, now we're gonna use our door stand. All this is 2x4s, piece of wood. That's how it sits. Put the chisel in there, helps keep it sturdy. Now to notch out for the hinges, you can use a hacksaw, utility knife, cut the lines. Then use your chisel to chip away at it. But we have a router. Okay, here is the Makita router. We have this kind of bit on here. See the tip? Now what you want to do is adjust the height of the blade. Once you have it at the right height, you lock this in. Now these exterior doors, the hinges are thicker than interior doors, so it's not preset. These routers have a preset in here. You can, if I want to route out for hinges, I marked the H. I move that to H. Push this back. As soon as it hits the stop, I lock it in and it's set for the height for the hinges. But these are thicker than regular hinges, so we can't really use that. So put this against here. Sure it's unplugged. Put same depth as the hinge and lock it in. Okay, now when we're routing this, remember this right here is metal. So you don't want the blade to come in contact with the metal. You're gonna damage the door possibly, and also the blade. So you want to stop right towards the edge of the wood all around. Now when you use your router, you want to have both hands on the router. Put your elbow on the door for stability. Do not start the bit touching the wood. It's going to kick back on you. So you want to start it, push, ease down on it, and let the router table, the flat part of the router, sit on the door flat. And once you have it in, you slowly do the edges first. Do all the edges first. Then after you do the edges, you come back in and cut the rest of the center out. And then with this part, you're going to use your utility knife and just cut it out. Like so. You do that for all 3 hinges. And also the reason to do the edges first is so when you get to a part like this, you want the router to be able to have something to sit on versus this little piece of wood that can just collapse. So you want to do the edges first and then chip away at the center so you can have some kind of stability as you routing it. Because if this wasn't here, the router would then go like this and you'll be taking off more wood than you need to. I like to start on one side. And chip away at it, slowly making it disappear. This is what it'll look like. Then you put your hinge on here. Use your number 3 Phillip for these big screws. Use your number 3 Phillip. Check your height, make sure it's flush. This side is good. This side's a little bit raised up. I gotta shave a little bit more right there. Blade. Perfect. Okay, now we got the hinges installed. Now we're gonna hang the door and see our fit and also mark for our boards, for the holes for the lock. Okay, we hung the door. Now we put your pins back in. Don't hit them in all the way because you're gonna be taking the door back down. And check the fit. Nice gap all the way around. Down there we're gonna put a door sweep. Now here's where you're gonna mark for your holes. But before we do that, we need to fix this in order. You just put the center on here, mark. Door. There's my mark there. So that's where my bottom lock is going. Center for my bottom lock. But this one we can't do because it's messed up. So I gotta try to find a big striker plate. Okay, so here's the striker plate. Looks like somebody did a rigmarole on this thing. Seems like a good fit there. But you see how it got this, it's dented in right here on the jam. And where the screw goes, hole's not lining up and this is pushed in. So for that, we're gonna use channel locks. Channel locks. Bend this back. And with this. Somebody try to fix this with caulk. Yeah, that looks better. Now I gotta see what screws to use. Now these are the screws that came out of the pack. They're just wood screws. These I had in my pouch. The front of it is wood, and then towards the end you see the threads are smaller. That means they're for metal. So, and if those don't fit, I'm gonna have to try to find something a little bit thicker. Okay, I was able to get one of those screws that had the wood bottom and the metal top of the screw on here. That's pretty tight, but there's nothing here to screw to. But inside there is metal jam. It's block, so I'm gonna have to drill and use a Tapcon screw and drill into the block. Use a 3-inch Tapcon screw. Right in there. Okay, now here's my marks. Here's what we're gonna do, make the holes. So for that, we're gonna use a 2 1/8 hole saw. This is a Milwaukee hole saw kit. I think I added some more bits in here, so I'm not sure. I think it does come with a 2 1/8. How to put this on. Screw it on, and then this goes up and down. So once you get it as far as you can, yeah, it's ready. Now you want this kind of a new one, because that's a metal, sheet metal door, so you want this new so it don't give you a hard time when you're boring your hole. Also, we're gonna use this. This is also from Milwaukee. They stopped selling this years ago because how durable this is. You ain't gonna find this nowhere, but they sell the one that's just has the top piece and one side, and it's made of plastic. You can use the same thing. So you're gonna set this in place and you tighten this up and holds it, it locks it in place. But you wanna line up that mark you made in the center of the hole. So like that, and then you'll tighten that down. This particular one, you can adjust it. help clamp it down a little bit better. For this one, I'm using the regular drill. I got it off a hammer, and I'm gonna go slow. After the tip of the bit goes in, I'm gonna go slow because it's metal and these teeth are that big, it can bind up and cause it to jerk and mess up the door. So you have to go real slow when you're doing this, or you can go in a high speed, but just go slow going in. Don't force it in because you will get kickback. And also, I'm only gonna do one side of the door at a time. I'm gonna do this side first, then I'm gonna go back and do the other side. I'm gonna go this way, have my body weight, my knee touching the door. This is what it look like. Now I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna do the other side from standing on this side of the door. And I'm gonna push this way on it. Okay, now we got the hole all the way through. Now we're gonna use the paddle bit, a 1 inch. We're gonna put it, remember that center mark you put earlier? You're gonna set it like that in the hole. And again, use your regular drill. That's what it looked like. Okay, got your holes done. Now we're gonna put this together. This goes in. Rot it out. You can use a hammer and chisel, utility knife. You can use a router. Okay, you got the locks back on. Now we'll rehang the door and test it. Door latches and locks. Oh, I have to put weather strip. Put the door sweep first. For that, I'm gonna use vinyl door sweep. About 20 bucks. Okay, we're also gonna use 1/2 inch number 8 self-tapping screws. And we'll put the holes towards the inside of the door. Set it in place and slide it down. And we're gonna make sure it's lined up. Here's good. On this end, you see how much we gotta cut. I marked it. I'm gonna use these to cut it. Take it back out. Okay, now let's cut to length. Check the bottom. If you see any light coming through, you push it down. Then you screw it. Okay, there's the bottom door sweep. Now for this, let me see. You still see a little bit of light coming through here. So I'm gonna down in. See it? So I'm gonna replace that whole weather strip that's on here now. I don't like this kind. One, this rubber part gets kind of hard and stiff, and then it doesn't work right anymore. We're gonna replace it with this. This set here is a little bit more money, but it's a whole lot better. How this thing is, this is from Home Depot, it's like $40. I'll show you how it is. Comes with 3 pieces, one for the top, short one for the top. Come with these wood screws, but being that we got a metal jam, can't use that. Gonna have to use again these self tappers. But you see the difference? This is like a real weather strip. But I'll show you how it goes on. Close your door, lock it, make sure it's in a good spot. See how I got a little bit of play? You want to lock it to where it don't have no play. Push in a little bit so there's no play. And then you take your weather strip, put it against the door, just put a little pressure to it, and you put your screws. This is the best weather stripping system there is out there. If you don't have a wood door frame. So we're gonna put the top piece on first. Then we'll do the sides. First, I need to take this side off. I already took this side off here. I'll measure the length. Cut that one. And I'm gonna use the 10 snips again. Use this. Cut it with this. So you put it on. And then you slide it to where it's touching the door, and you push a little bit more, and then you put your screw in. You want just a little bit of pressure, not too much, because then you're gonna have a hard time closing the door and locking it. So you just wanna butt up the weather strip to the door, push a little bit more pressure on it, and then just put your screw in. Okay, now you also wanna measure from the bottom of the threshold up to the edge right here. I have my mark already, and I'm gonna use my 10 snips. Okay, now for the top, you don't want it to sit like this on the door jamb. So what I like to do is set this little scrap piece. Set this in place right here, and then mark it. I'm gonna cut it. This will look like cut. It will turn out like that. Then when you close the door, no light. Okay, now I got the weather strip on. And no light. Now we do the peep view. This is a large one. And on the old one, it was somewhere around here. So we're just gonna eyeball it. But I'm gonna pull a measurement. So 17 inches. Open the door, pull that same measurement, mark it. And then in between this is 5 inches. So I'm gonna mark it at 2.5. And I'm gonna take my center punch and mark it, hit it right here. And that's just so when I go to drill, my drill bit won't be dancing around on me. You're gonna do the same on both sides of the door. Okay, to make the hole for this, we're gonna use the 2 3/8 hole saw. All right, now you're gonna use a 2 3/8. when you do this, you want to drill as fast as you can, but go slow. And don't have it on an angle. Don't have it tilted, because it'll get snagged on the metal and tear the sheet metal. So when you do it, try to keep it flat and go slow inward. And hold the drill very, very tight and hard, because it'll snap and bust you in your mouth. All right, now for this peep view, you have these things. You can drill a hole, or you can use 10 snips. I like to cheat it. Cut me a little triangle. Then you can tap that down. And then you can put this on. Okay, then while you hold this, you're gonna screw this part first. And then once that gets tight, then you take this ring that's closer to the door, then you tighten that up, and that creates a tight. Right.
Okay?